All right, y'all. Welcome to the June 21st stream. It is the first day of summer. At least that's what I think, right? June 21st, the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. All right, Bitcoin is it's crazy. We'll get into it, guys. We'll get into it in 49 seconds. All right, y'all. We are live. Thank you, everybody, for being here. May God bless all of you. Andy S., good to see you here. J-Boy Bullish. Alex, what's going on, guys? Seb and Scotty and Yash, what's going on, everybody? Theo, yo, what's going on, Theo? All right, guys, so, oh my goodness. Well, you know what? Yesterday night, I went to bed, and when I woke up, I had noticed that Bitcoin was trading at a slightly lower price than when I had gone to bed, and it's just so interesting, um, because I happened to be in a short from last night, that scalp trade that I was in. I had some of the position open still because I shorted that twice. And wow, I was not expecting this. My long got stopped out. Got stopped out in profit. My long from 35. But interesting stuff. So right now, before I get into the TA, let me just talk about what I'm kind of like looking for in the immediate short term for, like, as far as longs go. As far as my immediate kind of plan as I'm looking at this chart. Now, first of all, this box right here that I drew out, the reason why I'm looking for a bounce off of this box, and keep in mind, guys, on the daily time frame, we're still printing now the bullish divergence on the daily time frame. So I am expecting some kind of nice bounce, right? Even if we just come down to right here, we can see that there is the bullish divergence going on. Right, momentum's coming up, price is coming down on the daily time frame. So I'm still bullish. Like, everything that I said last night in the TA channel still holds true, because if we look at the price action right here, I mean, we can see that clearly we're still trading within this range. So even though it's a drastic drop from our perspective, it's not really that drastic of a drop, especially not compared to this drop, and even not compared to this drop. I mean, we've been through some drops. We've been through some drops in the past few months, right? We've all got a bad case of dropsy. So the reason why I'm looking at this box for a potential bounce right here is because, number one, obviously, this is the very low of our range. So if we're not going to bounce from here, then we're gonna come lower. Two, I just think there's some key levels here, right? We got currently we've been finding support at a weekly, but it doesn't look like, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to hold that. You could potentially look for a long right here. In fact, earlier I took a little scalp off of this, and I didn't get a chance to post it because it happened so fast, and I was doing TA and stuff. But anyway, we have let me see what we have here. Yeah. So this white line down here is actually, here, let me turn off these lines just so we can take a clearer look at the chart. This white line here is a daily level. And then I have another level of support, this green line right here, this 4-hour level, which we can see we've gotten 2 bounces off that in the past. And because this is the this 30,385 thereabouts, this is the next daily level of support that we have. If we lose this weekly, this is the next very significant box of support. And so if we're going to get a chicken drinking water bounce, it makes sense that we would come down into this box and then get our bounce from there. So that's really where I'm looking for a nice long setup. You know, if we come down, when we start getting the bounce, if we come below the daily, you know, when we come back above the daily with that wick, honestly, I would look to enter a nice long from there, like a super nice long all the way back up to the highs of the range, like 40K or potentially even, you know, 42. So this would be like the nicest long I could think of. And then, you know, this green 4-hour also, if we just come down into the box and then get a bounce from there, you know, then we would just change our setup slightly, where instead of limiting in as we come up above the orange line, we'll limit in as we come up above the green line. And really our take profits along the way up would be the same. And really, if we are going to be longing from the lows like this, I mean, we really can't get a better trade setup than that, can we? We really cannot. So it might happen during this stream, I'm not sure. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on it here. But yeah, see, it doesn't look like we're really holding that weekly. When we come to the 1 hour, we can see that we're getting the divergences. We're getting the divergences starting to form here. You know, we got the bullish divergence here. So, you know, also still in the 1 hour, we still got the money flow in general crossing up, right? We can take a trend line from here, and it's coming up on the 1 hour. Okay, the 12-hour is still, you know, looking pretty good. The money flow is still crossing to the upside. Once we get a green dot here, it could very much give us a nice move to the upside. And yeah, just keep in mind that we could, you know, we could get the bounce from anywhere at this point. That's why we just got to keep our eyes on the levels. And if you see confirmation, like trend confirmation, then, you know, by all means, it's okay to enter along. Like, for example, if let's say that we do get a massive bounce from here, okay? Now, first of all, we've been bouncing between the weekly and the daily for quite some time. Okay, I was able to take this trade right here. And it was a high leverage trade, pretty risky. I probably shouldn't have done it, but it turned out okay. So, you know, if you notice that now we actually come above this daily and are holding that, then, you know, I would say it's okay to long that, because you're still longing low. You're still longing low, and we've come below the daily. We've lost the level, and then we've come back above it. And because we lost it and then came back above it like that, you know, I would still consider entering along here. Obviously, it's not as nice of an entry as if you catch the bounce off your actual level. But right here, this is really, this box, this in my mind is where we are going to get the nicest bounce. So really, we're talking between 31K and 30.3K. That's really where I think we're going to get the nicest bounce. The nicest bounce. So, without further ado, Let me hang on 1 second, guys. Hang on 1 second. I just have to. I'm gonna mute myself for 1 second here. Got to do something loud. All right, yo. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so let's get into the analysis here. Just one quick last thing. You know, right now, I'd really be watching to see if we're actually going to officially lose this weekly, because we came down, we got a perfect bounce off of it, then we came down, wicked a little bit lower. Right now, if we come down and then reject off of it, then that to me is a sign that we are going to be coming lower. Okay, so exciting times. It's exciting times. I'm excited. So let's go through our levels here. Okay, we're gonna go through our levels, and the weekly, as we can see on Market Cipher B, it's looking pretty nice, right? Like we're about to print one of these waves down here. And just historically, we know when we print the green trigger wave on the weekly time frame, it gives us a very significant move to the upside. Okay, and these are the weekly levels that I'm really looking at as far as my trading plan goes, right? So I've got, hang on, let me remove these brush strokes here. We've got, first of all, we're at a weekly level right now, 32.2 thousand, and the reason why this is a weekly is because back here you can see that we had the candle close, the candle open, the wick right down to it, and so this for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row, this was a very significant level. Then of course we wicked down to it twice recently in May and June, and we're currently finding support at that level now. The weekly level above that is right here, 39.061. The reason I have this marked as a weekly level is because, all the way back here in February, we can see that it was acting as our resistance, then it was acting as our support. We have the candle body close and open right here. And then when we come to our current range, we have a wick right up to it. And then we have a candle body close and candle body open. This was a very clear level of support and resistance. Then we have the 45 level, because back here in February, we had the candle body close, the candle body open, and then we wick right down to it in May. Then up here, this is a weekly level. We've got right before the big dump, we've got this level acting as our last resistance before we really get that huge crash, right? This was this the Elon Musk announcing that he wasn't gonna accept Bitcoin anymore? I don't remember. I don't really care. But so these are the weekly levels, and then we do have one at 19.0 0.087 down here as well. This is basically the weekly level of support that we had right before we broke out of 20,000, right? So we can see that this is a very significant level. We've got the candle body open, the candle body close right here, and before these candles are actually touching with the bodies, we do have the wicks up to it. So I also have this as a weekly level. Now that I zoom in, I can see that I'm off by a little tiny bit. Maybe we should make this 19,164. Maybe we should make that 19,164. Yeah, let's do that. 19,164. Okay, there we go. So those are our weekly levels we got going on right now. Daily levels. Let's talk about daily. And by the way, guys, I shared these levels in the Discord. They're all on the chart at the same time, so it's really sloppy. So you could watch the stream and then go back and check with that chart, or just check with that chart and meticulously zoom in and go through the daily levels. These are the daily levels I'm looking at. So the most pertinent, I like that word, pertinent. The most pertinent level, I think right now, is this daily right down here at about 30.3, because this is a daily level of, let's go to the daily time frame, right? This is just such a clear daily level of support, right? We could see the candle body close, the candle body open right here. Not only that, wick, wick, wick. Right, this is a very clear daily level of support, and even if we come back to January, we can see that this was a level of support and resistance, but I actually was looking more so at our most recent price action right here to get this level, and the reason for that is because we've been trading now in this range for so long, we've had time to establish our local areas of daily support and resistance. And we can see that they're very similar to what happened in January, but now, yesterday was a great example of how, we came down, we wicked to this level, right? Then yesterday, we wicked to that level again, get a nice bounce right from that same level. In the past, since we lost 42K, this has been our exact support 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So 33.3. A very significant level right here. And then we have 40.6. This is the daily level that we rejected off before our move to the downside. This is this was when we came, if you remember, we came actually above the value area high right here at 39,587. And we thought potentially we were going to come up to 42, 43K, but then we fell back into the value area high, got the retest, rejected, and we find ourselves where we are today. So that's an important daily level as well. And we can see that we have the candle body open, the candle body closed right up here. When we lose 42K, our daily candles are opening and closing right on this line. We wick up to it as our resistance. So it's a very clear level. We come back to January, and we can see that the candle body open and closes are exactly on that line. So 40.6, a very important level of resistance. And man, things are getting intense here as the Bitcoin price continues to kind of hang in limbo. Then we have the daily level at 49,924. This is a level where we could just see the clear, well, right here, we have the candle bodies closing and opening right on the level. And then back in the middle of February, we also have the candle bodies opening and closing right on the level. We could see wicking up directly to this level before a rejection there. It's just kind of acting as a level of support and resistance all the way across the board. And then once we lose this level, we can see, actually this was the neckline of the Head and Shoulders that I think it was a famous Head and Shoulders, right? Carl from the Moon's Head and Shoulders that we were trading. And I think, yeah, so you could see that that was the neckline of the Head and Shoulders. And we came up, we lost it, and then we retested it. For 3 days we were trying to retest this level, and then we lost it. So that's a very important level of resistance on the daily time frame. Then lower levels, we have 26.2 going all the way back to December, and then we have 22.7 going all the way back to December as well. And really, these are the only levels that I have marked out for now, because I think these are the only ones that are important as far as, you know, this week goes, unless we have another, you know, event that brings us down much lower. And then I also have some 4-hour levels of support and resistance. These are 4-hour levels, and also just levels that I feel are significant. So I have this marked down here, 31039. I think it's a significant level because of the fact that we wick down there twice. Perfectly wick down there twice and get a chicken drinking water bounce twice. Okay? And I know if you're new here and you don't know what I mean by chickens drinking water, I'm sorry, let me explain it quickly. I shouldn't keep using that term, because I know that not everybody knows. When I say chickens drinking water bounce, I mean we wick down and then get very fast buy up. So there's a very long wick where we have a fast move down and then get a very quick bounce to the upside. And the reason I call it chickens drinking water is because it's kind of the way chickens drink water. Okay, let's take a look at a video of chickens drinking water, and they dip their head down real quick, get the water, and then they lap it up. They pull their head back up real quick and lap up the water with their beak. So watch this guy, right? He dips his head down, then laps it up. Well, actually, she's a girl. These ladies, they dip their head down and then lap it up real quick. So that's kind of what the Bitcoin price action reminds me of, when we wick down and then get a real quick buy up. And that usually signifies we're about to get a significant bounce, okay? So the levels I have, the other significant, whoa. Okay, so the other significant levels that I have here, okay, we're losing that weekly, guys. The other significant levels I have on my chart here are 31039. Then I have 34850. The reason I have 34850 is because, this is just a level of 4-hour support and resistance that I saw in the chart, right? So we come to the 4-hour time frame. We can see this. We wick down to it perfectly. We come down to it perfectly here, perfectly. What's going on right now on the? I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah, back to the 4-hour levels. 34850 is an important level, just because of all the support that it has provided in the past. Then I have 36107, simply because of all the important times that acted as our resistance. In fact, yesterday, was that yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we rejected right off of that level, this level here. And this was actually the beginning of our current downtrend. And this was actually the level that I shorted. I shorted it twice. And I didn't get to post it the second time because it happened so fast. But, you know, I said that I'd be looking for another short if we put in a lower high. And so we did. We lost the level right here. And we came back up. We were unable to put in the higher high. And I shorted it again. But yeah, so I think that's an important level. And unfortunately, I was really hoping when I went to bed that we were going to come up a little bit more from here. I thought that this red trigger wave on the hourly was we were gonna play red dot, green dot, and that we would come up just a little bit higher and reject off of this level here, or potentially even reject off the point of control up here, but that did not happen, so we move on. We move on. We carry on. We carry on. I have the level right here at 36,445, level right here at 36,787, 37,383. These are just levels going back historically, looking at the price action. They're not necessarily 4-hour levels to the candle. There are some candle open and closes on these levels, as you can see, but really I'm just looking for areas where price has found a sticking point where I tell myself, if we do, for example, come back up to 36,787, I would definitely be looking for at least a scalp short off of these levels, because look at how they're just respected, right? Respected. We come up, resistance, 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 support all through here, and then resistance again right here with this wick. Those are the levels, and then I do also have one at 39,579. 39,579. I think that is also a significant 4-hour level. We have the candle bodies opening and closing right here. We have them opening and closing right here, and then we wick up perfectly to that right here. And I think this is also a value area high, guys. So I think I marked it on my 4-hour chart, but it's also a value area high. So those are the support and resistance levels that I got going on. So just to zoom out and put them all in one chart, these are the weeklies. Let me put on log. These are the weekly levels here, and then these are the dailies. These are the most important levels in my mind here. And then we have our 4-hour ones too, okay? And then I have some miscellaneous support and resistance levels, which I think are important. Mostly we have the all-time high of January, and this box right here, which I'm looking at as resistance, because a lot of times if we're going to get a fake out, we'll come up a little bit higher than the actual high, and then we come down. So this is our box of resistance at the uttermost extremities of the north, okay? The uttermost parts of the north. These are our resistances, and then down here, of course, this is our range low, the ultimate support that we have to look for before we lose everything and end up homeless on the streets. Okay, so now let's talk about our volume. Okay, let's talk about our volume levels. We have our macro volume, which is right here. Well, first of all, if we turn on our VPVR indicator, just like we did last week, we can see that we've got the global value area high right up here. Okay, the global value area high is coming in at about, now it's come down a little bit, right, because we've been trading in at lower prices, but it's 50,758. 50,758. Okay. Then we have our range. We have our range from, in fact, let me turn off all these things here. This is the first level that's important to us, 50,758. This is the global value area high. So basically what I'm doing here, guys, is I turn on the VPVR indicator. The way you're going to get that is you're going to come to indicators. You're going to type in visible range. Go ahead and click that. This will give you the volume profile for everything that's been traded in the whole history of Bybit. And this is telling us that the most volume was traded right here at 9,431. And the value area high, which basically means this is telling us that the fair price of Bitcoin is ranging between 50,700 and about 3,000. Right about the Corona dump, right? This is the current range, the macro range that we've been trading in, and it's telling us the value area high is up here. Okay, so this is basically saying, if we're going to put it into like different words, that Bitcoin is considered fair price as long as it's trading below this line and above this line down here. And this is the fairest price, the point of control, the place where price finds equilibrium right around $9,000. Of course, this is extreme, but my point is this 50,700 is a very significant resistance, because this is the door into higher ranges, okay? Into a higher range, a new range where Bitcoin will find a new fair price to trade at. Until we come above this line, okay, Bitcoin, the fair price, and I use air quotes, which you can't see, is between these levels here, okay? So that's an important level of resistance, okay? This is macro scale, okay? We don't have to think about that for quite some time. Now what I want to do is I want to take a look at a range here. Okay, I'm going to keep that level on, and what I'm doing now is I'm using a fixed range, okay? I'm going to come to the daily time frame. I'm going to zoom out. And what I want to do now is instead of looking at all of Bitcoin's trading history from, all of Bybit history, I just want to analyze, the volume since we lost that very significant region of resistance. The reason I want to analyze that is because we came up above that range and started trading in a new range. Now that we've come back below it into that range, right? That range that we were just looking at in the weekly time frame, we can analyze only this price action to see, we can get a range within a range to see what is now the local fair value of Bitcoin. So I'm going to go ahead and use the fixed range indicator. Okay, now if somebody is unfamiliar with this, I know that there were questions about this week. The way you're going to do this is you're going to come to indicators. You're going to type in fixed range. Okay, the reason it's fixed and not visible is because the visible range is basically giving you the range for everything that you see on the chart. Okay, so if you zoom out, you can see that the visible range changes on the right. If I zoom in, we can see that the visible range changes on the right. It's giving us different levels. If I am looking only at price action, that happens after we lose, this global value area high, it'll give me a different range, okay? And we can see that if I turn on my fixed range indicator, it's basically giving me the same levels here, give or take, as our indicator on the right. Of course, it's hard to get them to line up perfectly, but my point is, if we're using a fixed range, we can analyze a very specific set of data. So the way we're going to get our fixed range is we're going to come to indicators, we're going to pull out the fixed range, okay, the old fixed range, and we drag it like we would a fib. And we're going to take it from the time that we lost, okay, from the time that we lost our level at 50,758. In fact, I'll do it on a smaller time frame. The reason we want to do it on a smaller time frame is because we can get more accurate data. So from the time that we lost that, okay, and we're going to just pull it to our current price, and we click our mouse twice. This is now giving us a fixed range where from the time that we lost, what's going on real quick with Bitcoin, guys? Hang on. This is intense here. This is intense. Okay, let's see. Are we going to reject off this weekly? Or is this going to be a reclaim of the level? Is this going to be a reclaim of the level? Because we do see, guys, we do see the divergence coming in, right? We see the divergence. We see the money flow coming in on the 6 minute. We see it. We see it on the 1 minute too. Oh wow. Okay. 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 Interesting. Interesting. I mean, if we come up, if we can put in a higher high, or if we retest this, see what happens at the retest. Wow. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it because we came down and hit this level so many times, right? Um, and it looks like, at least in the 1 minute, that we're still going to come down a little bit more. Okay. Okay. So my plan is to wait for lower levels. That's honestly my plan. My plan is to either wait for lower levels, or if we come above the daily, or at least start putting in higher highs, right? At least start putting in higher highs coming above here. But that does look pretty bouncy. Let's take a look on the 1 hour. I mean, that does look pretty chickeny, doesn't it? But we've had a lot of chickens going on here. We've had a lot of chickens going on the way down, putting in lower lows and lower highs. Okay, let's get back to the analysis, guys. Let's get back to the analysis here. Let's get back to the analysis. Honestly, if I were to take a long here, it wouldn't be according to my trading plan. But I mean, we have all the signs, right? The only thing that makes me hesitate is the fact that we keep coming down to this level. It's been very volatile down here. Very volatile. Okay, sorry. Back to the analysis, guys. This is probably the most intense live TA I've done because of the price action. And so right now, we're taking a look at our fixed range. Okay, we're taking a look at our fixed range from the time that we lose 51K up until where we're currently at, and this gives us an area where we have a value area high, we have a value area low, and we have a point of control. So this is basically telling us right now that the fair price of Bitcoin, at least in the price action that we've been dealing with since we lost the global value area high, is between 40.7 and 34.3, with the point of control being 36.6. And these levels are acting as support and resistance. Okay, so when we're trading under the value area low acts as our resistance. When we're trading above the value area low, point of control acts as our resistance, value area low acts as our support. Of course, when we're above the point of control, it acts as our support, and the value area high acts as our resistance. And I mean, just look at how accurate that is. You know, these levels are clearly respected, and there's definitely a lot of interest going on as price comes to those places. Let's turn back on our weekly level here. Look at this, guys. Look at this. I mean, honestly, if I were to enter a long here, it would be a very low risk, because you could just long it, take profit it, stop loss it below the last low, which we have been putting in lower lows, right? We have been putting in lower lows. But that, you could enter a low risk long. Take a look at the 1 minute. I mean, we do see momentum coming up, guys, right? We see momentum coming up. All right. It would be one of those trades where if you get stopped out, you just wait for the next. You just wait for the next one. You just wait for the next support. But we have found pretty good support here. We have found pretty good support here. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry guys. I know that I'm taking away from the stream, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to stop doing that. So these are our value areas where they're acting as support and resistance. And then we have another important range to take a look at, and that's not from when we lose the 50,700 level of the global value area high, but it's when we lose this box of resistance, which again was our January all-time high, a very significant level for us to come back into. And the reason is because this was literally our resistance all the way through January. We got the retest of it during our February dump, all right, on the 28th of February. And then we come back here. This was our resistance, and as soon as we lose that, this was our support, and as soon as we lose it, it gets flipped into resistance right away. And so I want to analyze the volume from the time that we lost that $42,000 level. And so I'm going to pull another fixed range from the time that we lost 42K. Okay, so this candle come down. Let me turn on the 4-hour time frame. And you can see it's giving us different value area levels. Okay, they're similar but different. So we have a point of control now up a little bit higher right here at about 36,953. We have our value area high coming in at about 39,587, and then our value area low coming in at about 35,000. Okay, so these are just some levels to keep our eyes on. Okay, and when we're looking at our chart, I recommend keeping things in folders so you can turn things off easily, turn things on and off easily. So if I only want to see the local volume, I can turn off the other volume, right? If I only want to see the macro volume, I can turn off the local volume. I have things in folders, so it makes it nice and easy. So, we just keep in mind that we have like an area of resistance right here. Just a volume area of resistance, again right here, and then again right here. These are more of zones, and we would look at these levels individually to try and find a reaction off of them, okay? That's how I would do it. Okay, so now let's just do some fib pulls, okay? I have some other fib levels marked out on the chart. First of all, if we go to the weekly time frame and we zoom out, okay, the first fib pull that I want to look at is from the Corona dump to the all-time high, okay, the Corona dump to the all-time high. And you can see that we are currently trading in kind of no man's land, right? The golden ratio is right here at like $26,000, which lines up very well with a daily level, right? We have a daily level of support literally right in the middle of that golden ratio, okay, at about 26.1. And so what I want to do is I want to put just a line here where, so a white line right in the middle of that, just so that we have in our minds that there is a golden ratio right here. So if price happens to come down there, we can look for a bounce off of there. And also knowing that there is confluence with the daily level. They're literally the same exact, not the same exact, but they're a couple bucks off, like maybe $4 off from each other. Okay, you see that, how there's the daily level right here and this 618 zone. So this is a zone right here of support. Okay, now we have the Thanksgiving dump, right? We had a dump in November, and I pulled that from November to the all-time high. You can see, again, we're kind of trading in no man's land. This golden ratio was respected as support during the time that we're ranging. It's just good to keep it on the chart just for some reference if you want to take a look at where some fib levels might be. I mean, we can see really that a lot of these fib levels were respected, especially in the range, The daily level of 40.6 is also pretty much the 0.5 of this fib pull. Okay, so this is a significant fib pull. We can mark on our chart, just for reference, that 618 level as well. We could take one from the January low when we dumped in January, and we could pull that thing from the low to the all-time high just to see what we have. Okay, let's take it from this low here. Do we see anything significant? I mean, it is significant that the golden ratio is acting as a resistance, but it's just something to keep on the back burner. Then what I want to do is I want to pull a fib from the all-time high to the low of the dump. Okay, this is now giving us resistances on the way up, because remember, if you are pulling fibs from a low to a high, it's giving you support on the way down, and if you're pulling a fib from the high to the low, it's giving you resistance on the way up. So we can see that we have some resistance, around 38K. It was kind of respected in the past. This is our 382 right here. Our 382 at about $43,000. Significant, very significant, because this 382 fib level, again, lines up perfectly with our box, right? Our resistance box that we're looking to short if price comes up to 42K. And so, that 382 level is significant, that we have a 382 right there. So let's go ahead and give that 382 all-time high to dump, and this is a level that we will keep our eyes on. And I'm going to just name this 382 at 43,274, and we're going to put this in our folder right about here, I guess. That's an important level to keep our eye on, an important fib level. And then, of course, we have our golden ratio up here around 51.4, and there is some confluence there with our volume value area high. The global value area high is coming in right below that 618. So again, this is a very powerful region of resistance. We're going to get into that a little bit later here. Okay, so now let's pull another fib from 60K right here to the low. The reason why 60K is because we can see that this is the last swing high. This is the last swing high up here. So when you're pulling fibs, you can pull them from different highs to different lows. Always the same endpoint, but different starting points. So I'm going to pull the fib now from 60K right up here where we wicked to the dump, and see if we find any kind of confluence there. Well, what I do notice is we have our golden ratio, our 618, at about 48,000. So I'm going to go ahead and put a line right there to remind us that we do have a golden ratio right there. This is acting as a resistance, and so as price comes up to the $48,000 level, we should be looking for, some kind of a rejection off of that. Interesting, guys. So we are getting a bounce here. We are getting another bounce off of this weekly. And we did put in a higher high. So, did we put in a higher high? No, we were unable to put in a higher high. I may have spoken too soon. So, okay. And then we have some other fibs here. This is basically pulling from the first time we dumped down to the first high that we got. So that first bounce, that first swing low to swing high after the dump. Just for our reference point, and it's interesting to note that the 618 of that is the same as the Thanksgiving dump golden ratio going on. It's also interesting to note that this 786 down here Also lines up pretty well with our weekly, right? Our weekly that we keep bouncing off of there. So, yeah. So these are the levels that I'm looking at, okay? These are the levels. And pretty much, I think that we have some pretty interesting trades that we could take, and now I'm just going to go over them now. Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, this, like right now, this weekly, this objectively is not a bad long to take. Well, because we have a very clear stop out, but you would have to use very good risk management for this. Don't risk much of your account, but right now, the long would basically you enter here, put the stop loss below here. It had to be a almost 3% stop loss, so you wouldn't be able to. If we're sticking to good risk management, you wouldn't want to risk a lot there. You would want to risk, only enough so that if you lose the trade, you're sticking to your risk management plan, which I recommend 1%. You're risking 1%. And if we lose then the weekly, then we go down to the lower areas that we're looking for trades from. Okay? And a lot of times I will trade that way where we get to a level, I see a reaction, I think, well, let's take the trade. If we get stopped out, it's a smaller loss, but we know that what's coming up is going to be able to give us bigger wins if we get there. So, where am I really looking? Where am I really looking? For a trade. Well, the first one is the one that I showed you at the beginning of the stream, where we come down to the rectangle. Okay, we come down to this rectangle here, and we get a bounce, off of anywhere between 31 and 30.3. Okay, we get a bounce anywhere between 31 and 30.3. And the way that would look is we've got our daily level right here. We would want to see us come down. We'd want to see a very clear reaction off of here. We enter on the way up. If it's just the daily that we're looking at, we can enter when we come below the daily and then wick back above it. We enter on the way up. We would try and limit in, set our take profits along the way up. If we actually do get to long there, then we would be able to set our ultimate take profits. Honestly, I would set them all the way up at 40.6 and then potentially even 42, 43, where we have this this box of resistance. This would be the trade setup right here, where we would put our stop loss. I mean, depending on, below the last swing low, however low that comes, and then we would enter right as we come up above that daily, and then we would set our take profits along the way up. For me, I would definitely take profit at 33.3. That would be a significant level that I think we should take profit at. And then above that, I would just use the levels that we have marked out on our chart, right? So this is pretty clear cut for a long, right? You would take profit, between the weekly and the daily here, take profit at the value area low, take profit at the POC, take profit at the weekly up here or the value area high, and then I would, especially even with swing trades like this, I like to take out profit early. I'll take maybe even 30% out and move the stop loss to break even. That way it's still a guaranteed win. And worst case scenario, we just get massive gains, right? We get massive gains. So this to me, this, and then this, this current setup right here is also one that is obviously much more risky because we haven't seen the clearest reaction, but who knows. With this one here, it's also potentially that we will come up a little bit and then come back down. Come up a little bit and then come back down. I wouldn't really. Yeah, this one here, if you're gonna long right now, I would make sure that, first of all, you're using good risk management. Second of all, you're understanding that if you do take a loss here, you're looking to regain that when we come back down here. Okay, you're looking to regain that when we come back down here. But again, if we front run this target a little bit, then we front run it. But these are really the only long setups that I see in the immediate short term. If we lose the low of this range here, then we are coming down to about 26K, and we'll probably most definitely get some kind of reaction off of here because it is a golden ratio. But it's very likely that we will come down even lower to 22, 23K around there at this daily level right here. So if we're losing these levels, then the longs that you're going to be looking to take are going to be from down here at 26. And honestly, if we're longing from 26, I would shoot for only the retest of the low of that range that we were trading in, right? I would shoot for the like 30K. So this would be my long setup from 26, and make sure also to take profits along the way. And the way we get those take profit levels along the way is if we come back to we really have to go back to January, right? We'd have to go back to a time before we were trading such high levels, which makes it a little bit difficult to set our take profits. It makes it super difficult because there's really not much there. So you just look for the wicks, right? Maybe take some profit at 28K, 27.9, 28K thereabouts if we come down there. And same deal if we come down to 22, just look for some wicks, look for some areas where price has found a sticking point. But let me come back to where we at now. And yeah, so really though, the best trade that I can see right here is this. The best trade I can see right here is this one. Okay, by far, because there's just so much confluence there. It's the low of a range. That's in my mind the best trade. This thing here at the weekly, I mean, because we've been holding the weekly for so long, potentially we'll come up above it, and just it will continue to be holding as our support. But we shall see. Okay, so let's talk about shorts. Let's assume we get a bounce down here and we make our way back up to the highs of the range, okay? If we do get a bounce from somewhere down here and we make our way up to the highs of the range, the first area that I would really be looking to short from is right around, well, first of all, the value area low, right? This would be our first place to look for a short, the value area low. Because, again, once we're trading below that, this is acting as our resistance. And so if we get something like this, then we start to reject, we get the bearish divergences, we enter our short position right here. As we're losing that level, we put our stop loss above the last swing high, and our take profit levels are pretty much set for us on the chart, right? We don't even really have to look much, unless you want to take some profit in an area like this where we can clearly see, resistance, support. You can do that. But this would be one trade to take. The second trade would be, obviously I would look at all these levels, all these 4-hour levels here, because I think that they're important. I think that they are important. But really the point of control, I think, is going to be a very powerful resistance for us. If we come back inside the value area low, that point of control is going to be a serious resistance. So I would keep my eyes on, and let me turn off some of these things here. I would really keep my eyes on this level right here. This is a very important level. This is a level I was looking to short from last night if we had come up higher. I would also, because we have so much resistance, like right here, I would look for the short in this general zone, but between we have a green dot on the 1 hour right now. Green dot on the 1 hour, bullish divergence, green dot on the 1 hour. So maybe this long could get us some profits. I don't know, but right here, this zone, okay, between 36,798 and 36,953, this is an area to look for a short. So if we come up here and we see the divergences and we're rejecting, then you short right here, put the stop loss above the last swing high, and again we have our take profits pretty much cut out for us. All right, if we're treating this like a swing trade, we have our take profits cut out pretty much for us. And of course, guys, if we're rejecting off of these levels, it is bearish, right? It's bearish because this is the middle of that whole range, and if we're unable to come up back above here, you know, it's very likely Bitcoin could see some lower levels. Now, keep in mind that these shorts that we're taking here, we're doing this in the context of the fact that Bitcoin is overall bullish, right? Is overall bullish. Let me see. Yeah, we have some bullish divs coming in, guys. I'm taking this long. I'm entering a small position on this long right here. On this weekly, just because you know, we do have the bullish divergences on the 1 hour. We have the bullish divergences on the lower time frames. But keep in mind, guys, we really could lose this. This is not the kind of reaction that we want to see here. Okay, so I'm taking this long knowing it's a high risk trade, and if I get stopped out down here, then I'm looking for the bounce at my lower levels. Okay, so keep in mind, a lot of times the divergences will form and will come lower. Before we come higher. So you know, this is down. We put in the lower high, we put in the lower low, the lower high, lower low, lower high on the 1 hour time frame. So just bear that in mind. Bear it in mind. Or if you enter a position here, I mean, that's a long way down. Make sure you don't lose. Yeah. If you're long right now and you get stopped out, you know, just take the loss and look for the next long. That's what I would recommend. Of course, this is not financial advice, guys. Entertainment purposes only. You know the deal. If you listen to me and you think this is financial advice, you'll lose everything you own. Your friends will stop talking to you. You know, all that good stuff. Of course, we have our short up here in this general area. You know, really, guys, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? We're looking at our levels, and if we get our confirmation at our levels, that's where we're looking to short. The best short that we could take in the coming weeks or month even is this short right here from this 42 to 43K region, where we come up to the top, we lose that, and then we short it back down to the lows. Really, I mean, literally, would be the best short to take. It would be something similar to this, right? If we reject off of there, it's very likely we come back down to the lows of the range. So this short right here is the filet mignon of shorts, just like this long down here is the filet mignon of longs. Okay, these are the best swing trades we could possibly take because they are at the highs and the lows. Okay, and remember, you know, along the way we're going to zig and zag, and we're going to pull our fib to determine the best places to actually find pivots at. The best places to find pivots at. All right, so let's go over Ethereum. Yeah, I'm going to pull up my ETH right here. And really, we're just going to do the same thing for ETH that we did for good old Bitcoin, okay? We're going to do the same thing for ETH that we did for Bitcoin. Let me just, real quickly, allow me to set an alert. Set an alert for when we come down to the daily level that I'm really looking for here. We come down to the daily. Just so that I know that we're getting close, I'm going to set an alert here. Oh wait, I don't want it on log scale. I want it on normal scale. Okay. Yeah. That way, if we come down there, I get an alert. I get an alert. An alert. Okay, I get an alert. Okay. Let's go. So Ethereum, what are we going to do? We're going to start on our weekly time frame as usual. I'm going to mark out right here the global value area high because I have that indicator pulled up. Go ahead, global value area high. That's coming at 3375. Okay, turn on our object tree. Alright, got that. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to look for our weekly levels of support and resistance. We are going to start looking to the left and see what we can see. I mean, I would definitely put one right here simply because this was our major resistance before we broke out. Major resistance, so we'll give this the weekly, make it yellow. I like yellows for weekly. And that's coming in at 682. 682 seems so crazy though, right? Of course, we've got this right here, this weekly, right about here, acting as our support down here at about 1688. Put one right here. Actually, I would rather put that one right here. Those candles. 27.29. I think that's all that I want to really do. I mean, no, let's also put one right here. Let's put one right here too. This weekly at 1921. Yeah, because we're at that right now, just like we're at a weekly for Bitcoin. Okay, let's go down to the daily. You know, daily levels. I would say that we definitely have one right here. Looking to the left, you know, we have one right here. Make it orange at 2532. And I would say that I would put one right here at 2856. I would put one too at 40.81. I mean, that's a high level, but we'll still put it. And really, I think that might be it for the dailies. I mean, we have a lot of levels in here, but you know, I'm just trying to see, like, I'm just trying to look for where price has found that sticking point. I would put one here too, right here at 22.76. $22.76. Okay, so that's great. Let's create a folder for these dailies and weeklies, and we'll just put them all in here. And we'll create another one for volume. Okay, so let's turn off these now, and let's go ahead and do our volume. So we have our very important volume level at about, interesting. We have our very important volume level at about 33.75. And so what we need to do is we need to analyze the volume from the time that we lost that. So we're going to go ahead and pull out our fixed range here, our good old fixed range, and we are going to pull it from the time we lost the level to where we're currently at, and this will give us our value area high, our value area low, and our point of control. So our point of control is coming in right here. Okay, style hot pink is what I like. I'm all about the hot pink. 24.57 for the POC. And then we have the value area low right here, 23.52. Yeah. Gonna do that, and then our value area high coming in at 28.06. Okay. Of course, we need to mark out the exact, the extreme low of the range, which is down here. Okay. Low of range at 17.29. And then we have our high of the range. Well, yeah, technically this is important level 2, because this is the high of the range at 35.72, because this is where the volume candles kind of stop. You can see up here. But I'm not really going to mark that one out now. I think it's significant to mark this one out because this is, the absolute low of our dump here. Okay, now let us do another range from, the time that we came and put in our first dump, and then we came and got a bounce up to here. I think that's a significant level as well, because this is the high, literally the high. Since we lost this level, this then becomes our high. So let's just put this in as a high. It's not necessarily the high of the range, but it's just it's important resistance at 29.96. Okay, and so now let me just pull another fixed range from there and see what we get. See what we get from there. From the time that we lost this level here, I'm going to come down to a lower time frame for that, so we get more accurate data. All right, pull that. And so this is now giving us another range. It's giving us a slightly higher value area low. Okay. It's giving us also a higher point of control. So I think it's important to mark this as well as a point of control. A more local point of control. 2559. And really this value area low, I would just keep that one there. And I would make sure to know that this is more local. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me do a volume folder. Just move all these things into here. So these are the levels now for the volume, and if we put them on with our daily and weekly levels, we can see that we're getting some nice areas to look for trades. Are we on the 4-hour chart? Let's see if we can do some 4-hour levels as well. You know, obviously we see one right here at 26.21. Because this is 26.21 4-hour. I think that's an important level because we see it just respected so many times. I think that might be all that I want to mark. Okay, so I think it's also important now for Ethereum to notice that we were trading in, you know, the triangle, right? It's important still to mark these levels on our chart. Just to give us, not necessarily to trade them, but just to give us a reference point of trend lines that have been respected in the past. You know, because this trend line here has been respected in the past, just trying to connect as many of the highs and lows together as possible. We want to just keep an eye on it, right? Just keep an eye on it, because this really was, as we were ranging, we were kind of consolidating in here. Let's see now if we can potentially potentially have a level right here. Okay, right down here. Let's see if we have a level right down there. Yeah, we do. Okay, so this weekly at 1921, that weekly at 1921, potentially if we zoom out now and extend this trend line down, we could be looking at a diagonal resistance that works its way all the way down to here. Okay, potentially we could start trading now in a descending triangle. Okay, it's just a potentiality here, guys, to keep in mind, right? Because if we turn on the weekly, you know, potentially we could actually just consolidate here for a really long time and come up, and everyone thinks we're breaking out, and then we reject off the trend line, we make our way back down here, we come back up, we make our way down. So just something to keep in mind, okay? Something to keep in mind. What's going on here? I made 2 volume folders, that's what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and move this up here, and I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder for trend lines right here. Yeah. Yeah, so just some things to keep in mind as we're watching this kind of play out here. For Ethereum, you know, Ethereum's a little bit harder for me than Bitcoin because of the fact that we have so much less. I mean, Ethereum, while Bitcoin was having its massive run up, Ethereum was kind of trading sideways until, you know, the middle of April, where we had the massive move and then a quick coming back down. And the only thing that we can really kind of compare, like for Bitcoin, we have the January range to compare. For Ethereum, the only thing we really have right now is this range kind of that we had in March. And it's not even, you know, we didn't really come up and down in the range as much as we did during Bitcoin, but you could still consider this the range. So you could look at these areas as well as support and resistance. You know, like right here, for example, we do see a 4 hour. I'll go ahead and mark this as a 4 hour. At 2137. You know, last week Ethereum for me was much more clear cut than it is now because we've fallen out of our range. We've fallen out of our range. And right now the only things I really have to look at is this weekly and then this low of the range right here. This right here, actually, now I'm looking at it, we wicked down right here. This is actually a pretty interesting level. If we just look historically at how this was resistance, support, resistance, 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 support. And the fact that we're wicking down to this now is actually quite interesting. Quite interesting that we're getting the bounce off of here now. I guess this would also be a 4 hour. Let's just put it as a support. At 1921. It's crazy that Ethereum is 1921 right now, you know. We've been up and down and all around. We've been up and down and all around with this. Okay, so yeah, this potentially, now for Ethereum, we are looking at well, hang on, let me turn off the ranges. Really, as far as long setups go, I think we have one, you know, a potential one right here, which I don't really like the reaction of. And then I would be looking here. I would be looking here, okay, for a nice chicken drinking water bounce for Ethereum. And the reason for that is because we have down there, not only did we wick down there, and that's the low of our range, but we also have a weekly level down there. And then, you know, the way I would trade that is I would look to long down here, and I would, you know, obviously we're we're obviously targeting, these high levels, but you got to take profits along the way. You have to take profits along the way. And the first place, really, I would look to take profits if we're coming along from down here, would be right up in this zone, and then the second place would be here. You basically just use the levels that you have marked on your chart for these swing trades, and make sure to lock it in. Make sure to lock it in. Now, as far as shorts go, I think that in the immediate short term, we're going to be looking at this area right here for another rejection. We have a double rejection right here. So if we make our way up to this level, obviously be looking for a rejection off of it. If we come back up to the value area low, definitely be looking for a rejection off the value area low. If we make it back above the value area low, this point of control is a great place to look for a short. And both point of controls, pretty much all these levels here, be looking for a rejection off of them. Be looking for a rejection off of them right now. Again, same as Bitcoin. Like if you want to, like we have low trading volume after that dump. If you want to long here and low risk long, absolutely you can, understanding that you're looking for lower levels, if you get stopped out here, okay? The Bitcoin long, it's holding its own right now. It's holding its own. So, it's holding its own. It's up a little bit. So again, we're doing this. We're doing this in hopes that we continue upward. Yeah, okay, that's interesting. All right, so that's kind of it, guys. And this Ethereum chart I will share. Let me make sure everything's on here except for the ranges. Yeah, I will share this, make sure it's shareable. This is going to be my public Ethereum chart. Let me make sure to save it. And I'll drop it in the Discord here for trade levels. And guys, give me one moment. I will be right back to do Q&A. I just need to check on my daughter for 1 second. Give me 1 second here. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see what's going on. Any questions? CryptoFace says it's bearish. Shout out to Andy S. CryptoFace ranting like he's drunk in the park. XRP has now made a double bottom from the dump. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Are we bearish? Are we bullish? You know, overall, for me personally, and actually here, while I'm here, you know what I need to do is I need to make a copy of this layout and call it working Ethereum chart. Because I found out that if I make any changes to this one right here, this public ETH chart that I shared in the Discord, then it will change the chart. So I am not going to touch the public one. I'm going to only be, oh, I've got to save the changes, of course. Of course I got to do that. I'll only be dealing with my working Ethereum chart here and my working Bitcoin chart. Yeah, that's all I'll be dealing with now. And let's take a look at the Bitcoins. Yeah, so, you know, are we bearish? Are we bullish overall? Yeah, I definitely think that we have the potential for a move to the upside. You know, I get bullish when we come down to these lows. I get bullish at the lows. I get bearish at the highs. What is this? This is a different chart. This is a different chart. What is this? I'm getting all confused, guys. I confuse myself. Yeah, I do get bullish at the lows. I mean, when we look at the weekly, when we look at the daily, you know, it looks like we're about to soon get some kind of move to the upside. So if we start to lose now, okay, this daily level, then I will become bearish. And if we lose the daily level, guys, this is actually important. If we lose the daily level, I would look to short. I would look to short if and only if, like the video I made yesterday, we lose the daily, right? And we either get a retest of the daily and come down, or we lose it with trend confirmation, meaning we lose it, we put up a nice try and get there, we don't even get there, we just put up a wick that gets sold off real quick. You know, you enter and you take profits along the way down. Okay, that's important. That's important. That you wait for trend confirmation, right? We're not just going to wait until we come below the level to short. No, we're either going to wait for a retest and a rejection, or we are going to wait for, we come down, we try to get a retest, we can't even put a retest, and we're going to be looking at Market Cipher for Confluence as well. Market Cipher for Confluence as well. Confluence. Confluence. Well, what do you know? I just made a trend line. Interesting. That is interesting, isn't it? Isn't that interesting? Ain't it interesting? It is. So, you know, I am in that long, right? I'm in that long, risky long. I'm just going to see what happens with it, right? But really, what I really want, what I would love is this, you know, on the hourly, this box right here, this box, ox. Red dot has printed on the 2-day, Jay. Thanks, Ruben. Let's check it out. Actually, let's check out the 1-day. Oh, wow, that's super bearish looking, isn't that? But here's something we need to keep in mind. Okay, here's something we really need to keep in mind. You know, if we do this, okay, and print a green wave here after printing this bottom on the 2-day, that would be a massive bullish divergence on the 2-day. Okay, just saying. And, you know, the 2-day is a powerful indicator of what's coming. And for right now, it looks like, even though money flow is coming down, it looks like momentum is coming up. And if we zoom into the 12-hour, money flow is coming up, right? So This is why it's important to use Market Cipher in conjunction with your levels, because it will allow us to, kind of see where does it look like things are heading, but at the same time, we can take both sides of the Bitcoin and say, all right, well, if it goes down, then we'll look for shorts. If it goes up, we'll look for longs and stuff like that. But thank you, Ruben. China FUD, I don't really know what China FUD is going on right now. I don't have time to look at the news, guys, and you know what? I'm of the opinion that the news, although it potentially could move the markets a little bit, the charts will tell us what is to come. The magnitude of what comes, it can't tell us, but it can tell us what is to come. For example, right, this dump, the dump that we got, right, the charts told us. They told us. That's why I was looking to short here, right? I mean, the chart was telling us that we were coming down. If we look, we came up to the 4 hour. We got this wick, okay? We got this massive wick rejection, and we were unable to print the higher highs. Personally, I shorted this twice. The charts were telling us that we were coming down. I posted it here before it happened. People were saying wrecked, poop, all this stuff. Told everyone I'm hodling on. Why was I hodling? Because I saw what the chart was saying. And I didn't know how low it was going to come. I thought it was going to be a scalp, and then we were going to continue up. Well, I was wrong. But the chart wasn't wrong. The chart said we were coming down. And so, FUD from China, news, the charts will tell us which direction things are heading. We just need to have our levels marked out. And if we can get gains, we can get gains, right? I missed the move pretty much because I was looking at it as a scalp, and so I took, massive profits. But if we can get gains, we can get gains. Shout out to Andrew Toten. Shout out to Carlo. Thanks for being here. Okay, so Andrew brings up a good question when I say if we lose this level or if we reclaim this, what candle time frame am I looking at? Well, there's a few things I'm taking into consideration. Okay, there's a few separate things that I'm taking into consideration. The first is, and the most obvious, of a reclaim or a loss. This would be a reclaim. We come above, we retest, and we continue on. The retest is showing now we've reclaimed. What used to be resistance is now support. We've reclaimed it. The loss of a level, same deal. We fall through it, we retest it. What used to be support becomes resistance. This is the most clear and the safest way to trade a level if you're trading with the trend, is to wait for the retest. Okay. The second way, and the more riskier way but still effective way, is to come above the level. We try and come down, but we don't even get close, and we get a bounce, a very wicky bounce. Wiki, that kind of bounce. Wiki bounce. In fact, I made a video about this yesterday. I recommend you check it out on the channel. You guys ever heard of youtube.com? You should check it out. Wow, yeah. This is intense. I should be in CryptoFace's stream now. But come to my channel. Go to Jason Casper's channel and go to this video I made yesterday. Powerful trading strategy. Got to get the clickbait title in there. Powerful. Okay? Entry, take profit, stop loss. This will show you how to enter a trade along with the trend, giving you some real examples of trades that I took where, we're looking for, yeah, like this trade right here, right? I shorted when we lost the point of control. And I did post this one in the Discord, but see how we lose the point of control and then we come up, we're unable now, after we lose the level, to even retest it. We're just putting in lower highs. And so to me, this is now, okay, we have lost the level. They're putting in the lower highs. That's more risky, of course. That's more risky than getting a clear retest, but that's the second way. And then the most risky and the third way is you just go for it, right? That's basically breakout, breakdown trading, where as soon as we come above a level, you go for it. Really, those are the three ways. And that's why I personally enjoy trading bounces and rejections more than I like trading with the trend. I know the trend is your friend until the end, but when you're in a sideways market, there is no trend. So that's something to keep in mind. When we're ranging, there is no trend, right? If we lose 30K, then in my mind, there actually does become a trend, right? Because if we go to the daily, okay, we could just say this is the trend. Okay, if we put in that lower low, then we're clearly in the downtrend. So then I would switch up my trading strategy a little bit, more looking at Market Cipher to catch the momentum of the trend, right? Because it's a momentum indicator. But as long as we're ranging like this, and it's crazy when we zoom out and just look at the daily time frame. I mean, it's like so insignificant moves here, right? In that case, it's best to in my mind, trade the bounces and the reversals, the bounces and the rejections. But why miss out on this whole move, right? If you could get in the middle. So that's what I mean by that. Hope that makes sense, Andrew. Is there a bear flag on the daily? Yeah, it could be, bro. It absolutely could be. We could totally look at that as a bear flag, right? I mean, just consolidation, a continuation pattern, right? A continuation pattern. I mean, we had, basically, you could say this was the bear flag. Now this. Yep, you could say that for sure. For sure. But here's the thing, if this is a bear flag, if this is not a bear flag, it's not going to help us find a good entry into a trade, right? It's not going to help us find a good target or an entry, because if we were to take this as an actual bear flag, then our target would be, if we lose this level, our target is, $1,400, $1,500 Bitcoin, which, absolutely could get there. But I would want to just, that's the kind of thing you keep in the back of your mind for like, okay, we could be heading down low. And if we lose our current support, then, that scenario becomes much more plausible, and then you become biased now toward the shorting, right? Biased toward the shorting. Toward the shorting. Toward the shorting. If some news guy, Daniel at Chart Champions, agrees with me, well, Daniel at Chart Champions is an amazing trader. That dude is absolutely fantastic. Blues Catson baby. If some news guy can write an article, there's definitely an Asian quant who priced that in last week. Interesting. Okay, Romeo Bob Boy says maybe. Seems like we didn't found our bottom yet. Okay, bounce and retest. Isn't it the same? Yeah, a retest, a bounce, I consider a bounce to be like this, where we come down to a level and bounce off of it. But a retest is like if we drop through a level and then come back up to try and come back above it and lose. Or if we come up above a level and then retest and keep going. So to me, this is a retest. It is a bounce, but it's a bounce in the middle of a trend. When it is what I call a bounce is a trend reversal. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. The 3-day chart looks bearish. 15K. 10 things you didn't know about orgasms. Was that really an ad? I didn't even see that. That's weird. Okay. Alright, guys. Well, I am, on J-Boy Bullsh's note, going to end the stream. I'll probably do a public stream as well, just a short little update, definitely not nearly as in-depth. But, yeah, thank you guys for being here. May God bless all of you. And, yeah, some intense times, guys. Some intense times. As long as we just stay level-headed and look at the charts objectively and look for those levels, we can find some. We can still make gains in these markets. And here's the reality, guys. Bear market, bull market, okay, for us Bitcoin hodlers like myself, I am a hodler. It is disappointing for our hodl wallets. However, most of the time Bitcoin, if we're not in a massive bear or bull market, we're just ranging sideways, right? Like we can go back in the day, before this was a job, before I got paid. Okay? And just take a look at Bitcoin, in 2020 after the Corona dump, right? We're ranging sideways. This was the Corona dump here, but even before the Corona dump, like most of the time, Bitcoin is trading sideways. And so, right now, what we're doing now is probably, if we're going to be trading long term, is what we're going to be doing, right? I mean, you find all these ranges that we can trade, right? I mean, you got a range right here, you got a range right here, you got a range up in her, right? So like, this kind of analysis that we're doing now is pretty much, I say, the majority of trading analysis that we're going to be doing. Sideways markets, which, they don't look very interesting now, but if we zoom into them, they are interesting, right? They are interesting. We can catch some good moves in here. I mean, this range here is a 36% range, right? I mean, these ain't no small potatoes, is what I'm trying to say. All right, these ain't no small taters. And so, sorry to go southern on a VIP stream, guys. Try and keep it more profesh. But sometimes the redneck just comes out of me. All right. Yeah, Scotty. Sorry for not being clear, man. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to clarify my terms because I realized that I might have been confusing. So yeah, there you go. All right, guys. Peace.